Hello, Edgewood Assisted Living residents. Sorry I'm not able to come in today due with rising COVID numbers. They're not going to let me come in. But thanks for joining, and I look forward to talking to you, even if it's like this. I had a lot of fun the last time over the summer. I got to come over and talk to you guys. Um, there's going to be a pamphlet. Your guys' will be in color, but it looks like this. You guys can grab those and follow along. I'll make sure they're available in the lobby there. I'll talk to you. Can get them from the business director, Emma. She will get you the pamphlets, and that's going to be a rough outline of the things I talk about today. So last time I talked to you guys, we talked about general overall health, and during that conversation, we started to talk about mental health in older adults, and there was a lot of interest expressed in that topic. So that's what I decided to do my CAP project on for this nursing class. It's a community health class where we find a need in a community, and we try to fill that need. And my need is education on how to address and deal with mental health in older adults. As we'll get to, it's very prevalent. There's actually a statistic. It's just over 50% of older adults in a long-term care setting struggle from depression or mental health issues. So that's over half. That's definitely a need in the community. And like I said, based off your guys' interest, I thought I'd educate you guys to what knowledge I have and what research I've done on it. So as you guys know, you've lived very long lives. Life changes. That's the first section we have on the pamphlet. Some of you guys are new here at Edgewood. Some of you may have been here for a couple years, but it's a new setting, and that can cause a lot of strain on bodies and adjustment and mental health. It's not easy to go into a new setting, and that can cause mental health problems in some adults. Also, you guys have changing bodies, which can be very hard to deal with. Some people can decline, and they're not as free. They're more limited than they used to be, and that can be really hard to adapt to too. But it's important just to realize that it is the natural process, and it may not be easy, but you're in a long-term care setting, so that way you can get help with those limitations that may come across as your body changes. And you're also in a setting where there are more than likely similar people that are in the same conditions as you, maybe not able to walk like they used to, or maybe confined to a wheelchair, or a list of other things. You might not be able to sew like you used to. And it's not easy, but just be open about your feelings, and you can talk to those that you think may be in a similar situation. Or if you have been in a similar situation and you see someone else that's that, talk to them and give them insight of how you felt and what made you feel better. Just expressing how you felt in the situation can go a long ways. Also, like, your purpose of life can change at this time. You guys you had jobs and you're raising families, and at one point you're going to college like I am, and now you're kind of in a new stage of life, and finding what life's purpose is important, but it can be challenging and confusing at the same time. I can tell you there's a lot of meaningful things yet to do, even if you're in a nursing home or an assisted living. You can bring joy to people. You can totally bring joy to people. I've seen elders find new hobbies that they love doing. You're never too old to learn, despite what they say. Old dogs can't learn new tricks. Can learn a few, at least, right? But also, you guys are dealing with you can be dealing with a loss of a loved one at this time. That's also very common. Unfortunately, the older we get, death cannot be escaped, and it's okay to talk about it because it is inevitable, and we will face it, and it is sad. Like, it's supposed to be sad, and it's okay to feel sad or like sorry or maybe even guilty when a loved one close to you passes, but like some of this other stuff, you just have to be open about it and um, just go through the process of grieving. You, it's different for everyone, you know. It's unique to everyone. Everyone's going to respond different. I just say, you know, if you know someone in the nursing home, maybe someone that sits at your table or one of your friends there, if they're experiencing a loved one, just I think it's really important just to be there for each other. And you don't have to offer advice. Just sitting in silence with a person in grief can be very impactful. You know, not everyone always wants to talk, or sometimes we feel obligated to talk to someone, you know, and they experienced, if we're with someone that experienced a loss, but just being there is what's really important. And kind of new setting we are talking about, you're also in a new social setting. You're surrounded by new people, especially with COVID here. The people you normally talk and surround yourself with may not even be able to come in, and I think that's really important to expand, you know, your horizon and maybe try and talk to someone you haven't talked to in the assisted living or nursing home, especially if you're feeling lonely, or more importantly, if you see someone else that seems like they may be feeling sad or depressed. Those are all good things. So that led off our first section. Now I'm going to kind of talk about signs of good mental health, because it's important to realize when you're doing good with your mental health, so that way you can continue those habits. And then also, if you know you're having good mental health, you can tell when you're not, when you know what signs are good and bad. So we're going to talk about positive signs of mental health first. Expressing your emotions, and they don't have to be all positive emotions, you know, like we're humans. We're supposed to feel anger, sorrow, guilt, frustrated. Like I said before, like with all those changing things, like it is definitely okay and expected to feel some of those things. And if you don't express that, it doesn't help you overcome it. A lot of it is acceptance, but you definitely have to express how you're feeling, because I like to hold my feelings in too, because I don't like to talk about my feelings, but it is healthy. It's important for us to realize that it's healthy. And if you don't like to talk about your feelings, it's okay if you only do it to like one or two trusted individuals. If you're not an open person, that's definitely what I do, because I don't think anybody wants to hear my feelings, but that's not true. There's those close couple around you that would like to listen to your feelings, and you should express that to them. And then, so for this next one, guys, it's really important to participate in activities. I know, especially if you're depressed or mental health is hurting, like you have a lack of energy, but it's important to do new things, get involved, do activities that keeps our minds fresh, that keeps us moving. It's not, and everybody can have, you know, like a sad day and want to sit in their room, and that's fine, but every once in a while, you should get involved. Humans are made to be social creatures, whether you admit it or not. It's good for us to be around social interactions and do other things than just sit. We should move, we should talk, we should learn. And just because you're older, that doesn't mean you should stop. These are all great things to keep your mind cognitive and functioning. Another positive sign is if you have a strong sense of belonging and purpose, kind of like we talked about earlier, defining, you know, your own purpose in this new setting is really good and healthy. And then just understanding, like, some days you might feel mentally strong, you might feel really good, and then you also are going to have bad days. Nobody is resistant to, like, declines in mental health, you know. It's really healthy to be able to recognize, you know, today's a bad day, I'm having these not so great thoughts, and just realizing that that's just kind of how it goes, that days end, we feel new emotions, and even if it's, you know, a small string of days, just realize that some days we're not always going to be 100% happy, and that's just how it is, and there's always happy days to come, but we can't just get stuck in that mindset of, oh gosh, like, I'm just really struggling. You just have to realize if you're patient, you're going to get through it. And especially if you do some of these things we're talking about, that's going to help. That's why I'm doing this presentation for you guys. Next, we're going to talk about signs your mental health is struggling. And I think this is important because sometimes we don't even realize we're struggling with mental health. It just kind of sneaks up on us, and when we come out of it, we might look back on it and go, oh, I kind of wonder if I wasn't in the best mindset there. But signs of struggling mental health include decreased appetite, not eating as much. Now, it also can be common in the older population, just in general, to feel a decrease in appetite from when you were younger. But if you have like a change, like from what you're used to, like the last, like you noticed this week you're eating like half the amount you were before, you just don't really want to eat it all, that can be a sign that your mental health is struggling. Loss of interest in hobbies. If things aren't being as fun as they used to, maybe you really enjoyed knitting and that's just not as enjoyable as it once was, that's also another sign we have. And I'll say it a few times, I think I've already said it, but I think it's so important, even when you're old, just to try new things, because in my just few years of work experience, I've seen a few that have done that and really enjoyed it, but there's not a lot of people that are open to older people in like your guys' setting that are open to new things, but the few that I have seen do it have had really good positive results. So it can all, and like really it can also be hard that if you are depressed, like trying to go out and try new things, but that's where this education comes in to play, right? Depressed, I'm not going to want to go out and try new things when I'm like, well, I heard that helps, maybe I should give it a try. And you know what, it's not going to hurt you to try something new. It can help you, or it's not going to make it worse. I mean, it can stay the same, that's all okay. Another sign is just feeling like not having a purpose or feeling worthless, kind of like talking about, you shouldn't feel worthless. You guys have lived long, hard-working lives. If you need help doing things, that is okay. You guys deserve that kind of care and that respect. So don't let that deteriorate like your value or your self-worth. You guys, I don't know if anyone really has an easy life, and you guys have made it a long time in this world, so you guys deserve respect, and you don't need to feel bad if you need help. That's what, and those at Edgewood I can say, because I worked with them for a while, they all really care for you. And you know, workers can have bad days too. They might not be positive every day, or the most attentive some days, but they really do care for you and want you to feel the best, not only physically but mentally too, because that's really important. And then like a few other things are just like sleeping less, fatigue, those two can be related, loss of concentration. Those are all, of course, just signs of struggling mental health. And then into our next slide, if you're still following our pamphlet here, things that promote good mental health are drinking water. I know some of you for sure like to drink more coffee than you like to water, and shame to your name if you're not drinking water with your coffee, because as we talked about in our last one, coffee's a diuretic, so that makes you spill out water. So you need to drink water. Some of you I made a compromise with last time. We would switch out a few of those 10 cups of coffee you're drinking a day for some decaf, because caffeine in there doesn't make it a diuretic and dehydrate you. There's so much research out there that shows, you know, being hydrated, drinking lots of water has a whole bunch of health benefits, and mental health is one of them. Your body needs water to function, so there's a lot that goes wrong if you don't drink appropriate amounts of water. And if last time when I talked to you guys, me saying it once didn't make you guys drink more water, I say try it for 3 days. If you feel like you don't drink a lot of water, let's say a week. We'll give it a week. Try it for a week. See how you feel. See if you have more energy. See if you sleep better. See if see what kind of positives comes out of it. Cause what do you guys got to lose? You drink a little more water for a week. It's not gonna kill you. I hope. I mean, that'd be crazy if it did. But another good thing for you guys to do is exercise for 30 minutes a day, at least 5 days a week. And like we talked about, lack of energy, some of those things can be a causative factor. But if you guys can lift your arms, you don't even have to walk, but if you can walk, great. If you can lift your arms, if you can move something, you can do some sort of exercises. There's no excuse, and it doesn't have to be for 30 minutes at one time. You know, you could go walk for 10 minutes, come back a few hours later, walk 10 more minutes, and a few hours later, walk 10 more minutes. You can do arm circles. They have chair yoga that I know they do. They put on for you guys there. And the aides would be more than happy to help you set a video up if you guys want to do that stuff. Even wheeling yourself around the hall, like if you're in a wheelchair, that all counts. Like there's so many unique and creative ways to exercise that there's no excuse. Unless you're like, there's like, you cannot, like you can be sick and like you can actually have something wrong, and then I don't recommend exercising. But if you're just feeling tired and everything else is okay, go exercise because it will benefit you. And that is the Brendan Langbein guarantee to all you Edgewood residents out there. I miss seeing you guys. I haven't seen you in a while. It's good to talk to you even if it's on the video. And like I said before, the next point I had on there is try new things. I already gave my spiel on that, so I'm not going to do it again. And then, like, stay connected with your friends and family. I know COVID has made that, like, especially hard, but it's important. Phone works both ways. You can give them calls. Maybe there's someone you haven't talked to in a while. Just, I wouldn't be afraid to reach out because, you know, life's short. So if you want to talk to someone, give them a call. The worst thing that happens is they don't answer. Now, if you're giving your daughter a call every 30 minutes throughout the day and giving them life advice, you might want to limit that to at least once a day, but that could maybe be a little too much. But for the most part, a lot of people are going to want to hear from you guys and talk to them. And then this one for me, I'm not good at, so I can't blame you guys for not being good at it either. Don't be afraid to talk about your feelings. I kind of already gave my spiel on that too, but it is healthy, and like, since I'm aware about it, I do it more than I would have if I wasn't educated on it, but that's the curse of education. So that's my challenge to you guys. Next time you try not to share your feelings. We're humans. Feel your feelings. Be proud of them. Don't be ashamed. And the great thing about you guys at Edgewood is if you're feeling depressed or like your mental health is struggling, do not be afraid to reach out to the aide. You could start at the med aid. You could tell the nurse. Any worker in there is gonna refer you to the right resources and help you and try and figure out what may be causing, you know, your mental health struggle, no matter what it is. Like I said, they all care for you and they all want to help you. And don't be afraid, like we're saying, to talk to your friends and family. And then if you're feeling like it's your mental health is a serious issue, also don't be afraid to reach out to your provider. Like I said, if anything, you guys have worked hard throughout your own lives. It's time to let somebody help you out and set you up for your next stage of life and take care of you and be appreciative. That's why, you know, that's why you're in there, so we can help take care of you. And everyone there should show you respect. And I hope that's what happens, and respect comes in many different forms, and just being able to have extra conversations like this can show respect. And I just pray that all you at Edgewood stay healthy physically and mentally, and hopefully I get to see you guys over there at AL again soon. They got me over at memory care, which is great, but I do miss seeing you guys. So you guys take care. Thanks.